Alright, episode 2 of Peacemaker season 2 has dropped on HBO Max, so now let's talk about it with spoilers. So that is of course a spoiler warning. If you have not yet watched this episode and you're planning on it, don't watch this video, cause I will be talking about what happens in this episode in detail. If you have watched it or you don't care, then good, stick around. So this episode starts out with a flashback to 8 months ago, which I'll be honest, I don't know if that places this before or after the events of Superman. If I had to guess, I would say after, cause wasn't Rick Flag Sr. something else, not the director of Argus in Superman? I'm pretty sure, could be wrong though. Anyway, yeah, this is Rick Flag Sr. being named the new director of Argus, and being shown to his office by Johnny Economos, and his first order, well, he wants those files on his son's death. I mean, makes sense, right? It is made canon now that his son was killed by Peacemaker in Corto Maltese. Yeah, as it happened in the Suicide Squad. But again, this was probably a different scenario entirely. We don't know if Harley Quinn was there, or anyone else from the previous DC Extended Universe. This is all we know for sure in this new franchise. Just thought I'd clear that up. So yeah, Rick Flag Sr. is now fucking pissed, and he wants the Peacemaker. Doesn't matter that he's under the good graces of Argus because of what happened in season 1 with Project Butterfly. Rick Flag Sr. doesn't give a shit about that. This first opening scene reminded me how badass Frank Grillo really is. I don't know, he's a scary, intense dude. I wouldn't say no to him. When he's all like, just get me the fucking files, John. I was like, okay. Yeah, cause you don't say no to Frank Grillo. That's just not a smart idea. So back in the present, we remember that Rick Flag Sr. ordered Sasha Bordeaux to send someone to babysit Johnny Economos, who is spying on Peacemaker because Rick Flag Sr. doesn't trust Johnny Economos, since Johnny Economos was part of Peacemaker's crew in season 1. So they send someone to look after Johnny Economos. And who do they send? This is a face I recognize pretty much immediately, because it's Tim Meadows. I was like, holy crap, I forgot he was gonna be in this. And his character, what's his name? Langston Fleury? Not sure if he's a character from the comics, I don't know. But this dude, oh my god, what a creep. It made me laugh how much of a creep and just how unfiltered he is. Like when they see that Adebayo is knocking on Chris Smith's door, the way Fleury is like massaging Economos while going, I wanna tap that ass. I'm like, dude, I hope you love your job, man. It seems like you do, a little too much. I'll admit, I thought his humor wasn't always the funniest. In fact, when he's talking about his, like, bird blindness, the fact that I guess he can't tell one kind of bird from another, I was like, okay, that's a little too unrealistic, in my opinion. Cause A, I'm pretty sure that's not a real thing. And B, if you have a big weakness like that, I'm pretty sure you shouldn't have that job. I don't know, just if you work for a government agency, just if the situation calls for it, you should be able to tell what kind of bird you're dealing with. Whether it be an eagle, a duck, a parrot, or a hummingbird. Yeah, I'm just saying, that joke didn't exactly land with me, but whatever. Anyway, Adebayo is at Chris Smith's house to tell him that Rick Flag Sr. is coming after him. We saw this scene in the trailer, so there we go, and she also tells him that Argus knows when Chris Smith uses his dimensional portal. I guess it emits an anomaly signal or something. They can detect that kind of extraterrestrial energy, so that's bad news. Later on, Chris Smith has Adrian Chase, aka Vigilante, over. We remember him from season 1, still my least favorite main character in the whole thing. I'll admit though, in this season so far anyway, he hasn't really annoyed me as much. But Chris Smith has him over to dispose of the dead body. We remember at the end of the last episode, Chris Smith ended up killing his doppelganger from the other dimension. So now we gotta get rid of the body. This made me think about it. Like, how would you react if you found a duplicate, like a clone of yourself, and ended up killing it? Like, you're essentially killing yourself. I mean, talk about an out-of-body experience. Literally. Like he says in this episode, it must be chilling as fuck. I can't imagine. Funny scene though. Eventually we get to the rooftop party scene, which we also saw in the trailer. And I actually really like this part. When Chris Smith is giving his toast and everyone's reuniting, it felt like the cast of the show was just having fun being with each other again. Like, you know, it felt like not much acting was required from the cast in this scene. Really, it was the score in the background that made me feel the emotion here. The musical score, once again composed by Clint Menzel and Kevin Kiner, who did season 1. It was good stuff in this scene. I was just feeling it. I don't know what to say. It felt good. But meanwhile, Fleury uses this as his chance. He gets a crew together. He gives them really crude nicknames. Again, him being super unfiltered. And they break into Chris Smith's house. They're gonna find out what this anomaly is. Except they're not, because they get pretty viciously attacked by Eagly. Yeah, Peacemaker's pet bald eagle. He's still got him. Pretty smart of Smith to leave him at home in case anything happens like this. And I don't know, man. I got a kick out of this scene because it was just brutal. It was savage. I mean, come on, the bird literally plucks out someone's eyeball and you see all the blood and guts. It was awesome. Yeah, man, I guess a bald eagle can take down a crew of military guys if it's well trained enough. The CG bird gets its time to shine in this episode. I'll admit, I still think the bird's CG could be a little better. I mean, it looks better than the CG in Wednesday, I'll say that. And even here, I will say the CG on Eagly does look better than it did in season 1 of Peacemaker. But, you know, I can still tell that that's a a CG bird. I don't think that's ever gonna change, honestly. Still a really cool scene though. So after the roof party, Chris Smith stumbles home drunk off his ass, cause even though he and Harcourt are happy to see each other again, he's just not getting anywhere with her romantically anyway. And he's like, fuck, man. Sorry for caring about you, I guess. But he has the phone of the other Peacemaker from the other dimension. You know, the one who was in a romantic relationship with his Harcourt. So our Peacemaker decides to go back over to the other dimension and give texting the other Harcourt a try. So he texts her, hey, she says hey back, and then gives a broken heart emoji. And that's when our Peacemaker is like, yeah, uh-oh, there's an idea. And so he proceeds to restrike that match. And that's where this episode ends. I was like, all right, here we go. This is where this season is going to kick into its main plot, if I had to guess. Because especially after seeing the preview for next week's episode, episode 3, we see that he's going to be doing some replacing now. Yeah, he's going to try to do what Wanda Maximoff was trying to do in Multiverse of Madness, or what Miguel O'Hara tried to do in Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Replace his other self. Hey, you know, we learned from both those movies that never ends up working out. Come on, Smith, haven't you seen those movies? I guess not. But yeah, solid second episode. I think just if I had to compare the two, I like the first episode better, but I mean, it's not a competition. It's all Peacemaker Season 2, and I'm still enjoying the fuck out of it so far, now that we're 1 quarter done. So, Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 2, A Man is Only as Good as His Bird. Have you watched it yet? What are your thoughts on it? And what are your theories and or predictions for next week's episode? Whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment. And of course, thank you for subscribing. Now, if you'll excuse me, Babe is showing me Omori for the first time, and he advised me to go into this game completely blind. I've only played about an hour of it so far, but even then, that is some shit. Peace!